Metro also taking steps to let riders know they will have a plan to keep riders safe from the coronavirus. During today's board meeting, Metro's chief safety officer revealed the transit agency had already activated its pandemic task force. That happened back in January. The task force is made up of leaders from key departments like emergency management, occupational health and wellness, and customer service. Metro is currently in phase 1 of its pandemic response plan. Now, that's when the FDA or CDC tells the public about a new strain of virus or germ that can pass from person to person. Here's the really important news right now. The task force is now meeting every week to stay up to date on the coronavirus. Metro's chief safety officer says the main focus is being prepared for whatever happens.
Metro's current cleaning protocols include disinfecting of equipment and facilities on a regular basis. Metro has verified inventory levels of critical supplies, such as disinfectants and personal protective equipment. Orders were placed by our procurement department in late January to increase supply levels to assure preparedness.
The task force also meets with local, state, and federal authorities. They will continue to meet every week and will update the public when necessary. Otherwise, Metro is suggesting that we all use good hygiene practices to help prevent the spread of coronavirus.